something that happened to me and I still can't explain it. I lived in Japan for 2 years, way out in the island of Kyushu, in a really rural town. I was teaching English there, and I lived in an apartment complex with 9 other English teachers and a handful of Japanese families. All of our apartments were 2-story townhouse style. My apartment was the newest of the bunch. Before me, there had been another English teacher who had lived there for 2 years. But before her, as far as I had been told, the apartment had been empty. I first moved in the beginning of August, which is brutally hot and humid in Japan. It's so humid that the wallpaper in your apartment gets wet and then it starts to curl up. The only air conditioning is the apartment was downstairs and the bedrooms were upstairs. It was truly unpleasant, and I ended up having to sleep downstairs to avoid the sweltering heat in my bedroom. And this is how everything started. One day I came home from school to find my back door wide open. Before I left for school, I had secured the bolt to it. I had locked the front door as well. At first I thought maybe someone had broken in, but nothing had been taken and not a single thing was out of place. One of my neighbors came over and looked everywhere with me, but we found nothing strange. At the time I thought it was no big deal, probably just some curious Japanese kids who thought it would be fun to break in and look at the foreigner's house. That night I was downstairs and I lay down on my futon to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I heard footsteps upstairs. At first it sounded like someone pacing back and forth between the 2 bedrooms, and then they suddenly stopped. At this point I was lying on my futon, shaking and holding my breath. I was terrified that whoever broke in earlier had managed to hide upstairs in the crawl space, and after about a minute of silence, I heard an incredibly loud bang, as though something huge and heavy had just fallen and hit the floor above me. I ran out of my apartment and I went to my neighbor's house. I convinced my neighbor to come back with me, and we searched upstairs, but we found nothing. This continued to happen every night like clockwork. One night, I was at the local bar with one of the other English teachers. He had been living there for 5 years. I started telling him about the strange things that kept happening every night and how I hadn't been able to sleep because of it. "Well, there's a reason for that," he said. "Before you, there was another teacher in that apartment, but before her, the apartment was empty. Nobody would live in there because a woman hung herself upstairs. They thought the place was cursed. So it was empty until the Board of Education decided to rent it out to foreign teachers." At the time, I thought he was just making things up to try to scare me, but one day, I asked my boss about it. He immediately turned white and said the other teachers shouldn't have been telling me things like that. I tried to press him for more information, but he would neither confirm nor deny. One day while cleaning my apartment, I noticed that something was on the underside of the windowsill. Someone had carved the words, "Try to smile," in Japanese about 10 times. When I saw that, I think my blood literally ran cold. I still don't know exactly what happened in that apartment, but every night during the summer, until I would start sleeping upstairs again, those same noises would happen without fail.